Stimulating conversation and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasted live to you and yours. It's Mr. X to the Z exhibit. Yeah, bouncing. Come on. The first day of the rest of my life. X stand behind the mic like Walter Cronkite. Y'all keep the spotlight. I'm keeping my rhymes tight. Lose sight of what you believe and call it a night. This ain't the lightweight cake mix that you're used to. Teflon territory, you just can't shoot through. You gon' shoot who? Not even on your best day. Rolling the Wild West way, giving it up. Leaving the whole world stuck, not giving a late in the cut. Now we break through in the rut. Come on, Hennessy and orange juice, baby, fill up a cup. Quick to grab Mary Jane by the button, squeeze. Loosen up, let your hair down and join the festivities. Overcrowd the house like lockdown facilities. Be quick to give me brains while I push the reins. Going up and down my like the stock exchange.
Welcome in. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Appreciate you checking in to the show where we cover all the trending topics and headlines across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture with me, your host, Jill Munroe. And tonight, as always, we have a bunch of great topics to get into. But before we get into all of that, make sure you're hitting us up on social media, KBLA 1580. Make sure that you're following me everywhere at Stiletto Jill. If at any point you want to get into this conversation tonight, you can hit us up, 800-920-1580. We also have an active YouTube chat, so if you want the visual to go along with this audio experience, tap in there. The conversation's always great there. And, make sure that you are touching all those points. We appreciate it. Now, let me give you a rundown of what we are going to get into tonight. So first up, listen, Don Lemon announced his comeback. He said it was going to be in a partnership with X, formerly known as Twitter, and that was going to stream his new talk show. Well, some things have gone awry with it after an interview with Elon Musk, and we're going to get into what happened, what Don says, and, a little bit about Elon Musk and Twitter, or X, as we should say. We're also, keeping in our social media theme tonight, going to get into the U.S., the House, I should say, has just voted on a bill to ban TikTok. Do you feel that this is information suppression, or are you on the side of it being a real threat based off of some of the things that happen? So we're going to get into that. And in hour 3... tweet and delete. Karrueche Tran announced that she's going to be putting her feet on OnlyFans for those with a foot fetish. And she received a lot of pushback from the fans, which initially caused her to at least delete her follow-up response. So we're going to get into a little bit about that. And, there's a lot of topics out there that are, kind of hard to discuss, serious. Nickelodeon for years has been in the headlines about some of the things that happened on some of their shows back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And there is a docuseries that is coming up soon. So we're going to get into some of the revelations that have come out, one related particularly to the star of Drake and Josh, Drake Bell, and some of the fallout that has come from that. And, of course, more trending topics and headlines. But before we get into all of that, we like to start the night off with a couple of conversation starters. These are topics, things that we like to talk about that you need to be aware of, but we don't have time to fully get into the conversation. So listen, do you remember that meme that everybody uses of 50 Cent where he was talking about Floyd Mayweather, and he was like, I don't know what's wrong with him. What's it got to do with me? And he was all confused. It was really funny. Everybody uses it. Well, Drake recently posted it because he is confused by a Kanye West rant that recently went off. You know, Kanye's beef with Drake seemingly is going to go on for quite some time. If you believe what Kanye said in one of his rants, it at least has something to do with his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. We'll never know if that's true or not, but both have said it's not. But Ye threw a spicy freak you to Kanye in his rant that he went off the other day. So Drake seemingly responded by putting that in his Instagram stories really quickly and moving on. You know, Kanye always seems to court controversy right around the time when he has projects out, when he's making moves on things. I think people need to start maybe ignoring him. He did this when he was celebrating or shouting out the fact that his song Carnival from Vultures One went to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. And it's his first #1 since, I believe, 2007. But he's not settling there. Justin LeBoy, who at one time was Ye's PR guy, mouthpiece, I'm not really sure what to deem it. It was kind of unofficially official. He announced that Kanye is seriously working on North West's album. She said it's called The Elementary School Dropout at the show. He says that Kanye has the best engineers and beats for North West, that she already has dropped 10 freestyles. She's about the art. She's really an artist. It's like a transfer. And that Kanye is putting all the chips in the table on North West, which I think is an interesting strategy, and I could certainly see him doing that while at the same time telling Kim he wants North West out of Sierra Canyon. Well, all of the children, really. But could this be a reason why, too? He's planning to put North West in the business, in the family business. Not that she already isn't, but pushing that forward. We'll have to see. And also, hotties, get ready. Megan Thee Stallion has announced that her Hot Girl Summer Tour is launching in mid-May. It is going all over the country. So we're going to see if you guys show up and show out for Meg and put your money where your mouth is. Not like that. But, you know, we have had a problem with the lack of support being there as far as streams, views, and sales for these female artists. So now's a chance to get into it. On the other side, we're going to get into this Don Lemon story, plus a whole lot more. It's Wednesday. Our Keep It Real friend is in the building. Trent Jackson, Trent the artist, plus more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough.
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging. since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase & Company.
That was another way. I would smoke once an hour. That didn't work either. All that would happen at some point of the day, I would end up doubling up. Other ways that I tried to quit was I stopped buying cigarettes totally. But if I took 3 puffs off of 15 friends, those didn't count because they weren't my cigarettes and they weren't full cigarettes. You know, I went through a lot.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. And we tonight have a guest in the building because, you know, it's Wednesday. So that means our Keep It Real friend, Trent Jackson. Trent, the artist, is in the building. And not only that, it is Trent's birthday. Happy birthday, Trent Jackson.
You're funny. Am I a guest at this point?
You know,
I've been here a long time.
You have. Since June, you've been on the ride with me.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
I am a permanent fixture.
Happy birthday.
Or a fixture, not permanent, but a fixture nonetheless.
So, how's your birthday going?
You know, it's going really good so far. I like it. It's kind of what I wanted. Things happen without prompting this year. I tried to avoid everybody this year because I wanted it to be low key. You know, once I turned 40, like that was like, okay, it can be quiet now. Like it's all this other stuff is noise, you know? So this year I really did not want anything. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be bothered. And my staff ended up taking me to lunch today. They got me a cake. So it was nice. It was fun. It was quiet. It was perfect. It was just what I wanted.
Okay.
All the important people called. People that I didn't even expect called.
Nice.
So it was cool. I appreciated it.
All right.
Thank you.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into this Don Lemon situation. So we know Dom was let go from CNN about a year ago.
Yeah.
Funny enough, he was back on CNN today to talk about this interview with Elon Musk and what happened with the situation. So basically, you know, he did an interview with Elon, and the deal following that interview was abruptly canceled over the weekend. I guess Elon didn't like some of the questions that Don was asking, you know. He announced, I guess just back in January, that this show was coming. And we know he was let go of CNN for making those comments about Nikki Haley being past her prime. So I wonder if CNN would like him back in the building now. Probably doesn't matter at this point. He says the show will go on, right? It just will move to different venues. Excuse me. And he still plans on running the interview. So let's hear what he had to say in his video.
Hi, everyone. Elon Musk is mad at me. And I just put out a statement about what happened between him, me, and the interview that he is apparently so upset about. But make no mistake about this. This is going to be my first episode of the Don Lemon Show this coming Monday, March 18th, so make sure you tune in. This does not change anything about the show except for my relationship with Elon and X. And there's a whole lot that went down, and I'm going to tell you about in the coming days. I know, though, that many of you were not happy that I was doing this in the first place, and you told me so. I just want you to know that I did this deal because not only do I believe in free speech, but I believed that this was the best possible chance for the work that I'm doing to reach the largest amount of people. So speaking of free speech, right, I thought the first person interviewed, no brainer, Elon Musk, the man who calls himself a free speech absolutist. I asked him to do it. He willingly agreed to the interview. Throughout our conversation, I kept reiterating to him that although it was tense at times, I thought it was good for people to see and hear our exchange and that they would learn from our conversation, learn more about him, learn more about me. But apparently, free speech absolutism doesn't apply when it comes to questions about him from people like me. What did we talk about? Why is he so upset? Does he even have a reason to be upset? Make sure you watch it on Monday on YouTube and everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can decide for yourself. You can even watch it on X because I'm still going to post it there, and I'm sure others will as well.
So that's his backstory. We have a couple of clips from the interview. I know one of the things that seemed to upset Elon was when he asked him about his past drug use. Something that Elon has talked about in interviews. He also took a hit of, weed when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. So, again, but Don asked him about this, and apparently it didn't make him comfortable. He also asked him about his relationship with Trump. So let's hear a little snippet from the interview.
Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think? Do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
So that actually wasn't the Trump part. He said that he had just saw Trump recently and that Trump did most of the talking. But he seemed very annoyed by having to deal with Don. We know that Don is a really good interviewer, asks great questions. What do you think? Was the juice worth the squeeze in taking the risk and getting into business with Elon? Or did Don just set himself up for something ultimately that was going to crash and burn?
Excuse me. You know what this reminds me of? Did you ever watch The Morning Show on...
Yes, I loved The Morning Show.
This reminds me of the episode that the character, Jennifer Aniston's character, did with her boss, the guy who sent the spaceship rocket up and then he ended up buying the station. It's the same thing, and we see how that ended up on the show. It's the same kind of, how it played out. At a certain point, when you are a black celebrity and you've had a certain amount of mainstream success, and mainstream success is a little shaky for you at some point, you got to reassess. And I don't think that Don reassessed all the way, fully. He should have explored his options and went a different facet. And I think at a certain point, there's a particular, when you're high profile like that, there's a particular rebranding that has to come into play for people to kind of, gel with you again.
And so you think that Don didn't do a good job with that? Do you think
Correct.
that it's too late? He's bringing it to YouTube. I think there's an audience there, and I certainly think he can thrive there.
Anybody can thrive on YouTube with the right acumen, or not even so. You can have a camera. You could talk about clickbait and be successful on YouTube. That's neither here nor there. Are the people. Does he have a fan base? I think people are not interested in Don Lemon.
Okay.
And I think black people in particular are not interested in Don Lemon.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that? I thought that they had come around though, and that in his last time frame.
Sure, but black people are we are very particular in what we like and what we don't like, and this has really nothing to do with the gay thing. I don't think that he just connects with black people. I think that black people question his blackness,
his authenticity,
his authenticity around his blackness. Yes.
I think that they definitely have in the past, but
and still do. Once they do it, they always do it.
You don't think that he's been given a little grace by some?
No, we don't sway, because guess what? When we get mad at you, that's the first thing we're gonna go back to.
But I don't think anyone right now is mad at him. I think they're just like, I think they were curious.
We don't care.
Okay.
We don't care. So it's like, what? We don't care. Why are we even talking about this? That's what he get. So what? That's what the streets are saying.
That's what the streets say.
Yeah.
Pretty Brown Mimi says Don got caught up in a mess with a billionaire baby. What billionaire baby, Pretty Brown Mimi?
Is that what they're calling Elon now?
Are you getting him mixed up with TJ Holmes? He was the one that got caught sliding off, right? Yeah.
TJ Holmes.
You know, they both had their...
It's all a situation.
It is. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have particularly... if I was Don Lemon with that type of stature, you know, I'm a national news anchor who's had my time and people know who I am, I would have taken my brand and either... We live in a time now where you don't have to... If you have a following, a Instagram following, you can go on YouTube on your own merits. And there's so many different streaming platforms and different facets. You can start your own news station.
Which, I mean, he is.
And
so
not have to, you know, particularly go to anybody else to get it done.
Well, yeah. So I guess that's what he's going to be doing. He's also said he's still going to put out the podcast. And it's the first of many interviews.
Yeah,
so
and he can still make it. But it's just like, I'd like to know who is Don really appealing to? It's a good question. It's a question that I'd like to know. Because some people like him, but I like to know who these people are.
And who his fan base is,
yes.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
What the target demo is.
Yeah.
Fahima says in the chat, Trent, Don Lemon had a $24.5 million deal. Trent is on point. So she is with you in that situation. $24 million with X, or you're talking about his prior deal with CNN? Just curious about that. I mean, I think he'll be okay. We'll see. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, he'll be fine. I mean, when they fire you, they have to pay out your contract, so some of it at least.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely got his money.
So
he talked about that. He definitely got his money.
So you know, it's cool for him. Now he might not be able to work, you know, for another, you know, it might be a no contract clause in there or something in his agreement.
A non-compete.
Yeah.
I think he's outside of that. I think that is why he waited to. So I think that he is free and clear to do what may.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
But who's watching though, for real?
We're gonna find out, right? We certainly will know because I mean, you know, he might be the Shannon Sharp of news.
We never know, but Don Lemon, in order for us to pay attention, he's gonna have to have a real authentically black soundbite, and not just when you drunk on the air, you know, on New Year's Eve. We need to see you sober and really take it left and really take it black. And okay.
See, I think you that know, he's I think he's a quality journalist, and you're naturally gonna get, you know, some type of soundbite or information just from what he does.
He is. But also being a quality journalist, when you are black, you have to also be black.
Okay.
We won't allow anything else. And there's even the ones that I won't even call names just to people slide in their blackness enough to where we know it's like, oh, okay, gotcha.
I think he's done. I think he's opened up to that. I can certainly understand what you're saying at one point in time, but I think that we saw him, you know.
Kendi just told me who his crowd was. Thank you for that, Kendi. I like Kendi. He's very informative.
Kendi says Don Lemon appeals to the Hamptons crowd. Okay,
that makes sense.
And Lavelle says Don has always come off as black to me. So see, there's differing opinions.
Yeah, I know, I know what the streets are saying though.
The streets, you got the streets on lock. Oh, we
have
and
the socials. Oh, Fahima's calling.
Yeah, we have Fahima on line one.
She's about to clear it up for us all. I love it.
Well, first and foremost, happy birthday to you.
Oh,
that's all you're gonna get. That's all you're gonna get. But listen, a couple of things. I just came out of space when we were discussing this.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I'm hearing an echo. Trent was correct in his critique of Don Lemon. Although Talib Kweli and Don Lemon have made amends, and Don Lemon has been on his podcast, sectors of the black community have not forgiven Don Lemon for his anti-blackness. I don't know if you remember a few years ago where he was speaking down very negatively on black people, right?
They said he was respectability politics, yeah?
Exactly. Negro respectability politics. Meanwhile, you pissy drunk in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. Anyway, the other thing is the deal was for $24.5 million. And I think he blew it. Yeah, he can still put the show out and go out, but the deal was for $24.5 million.
With X?
And I think
his deal with X. Okay.
Yeah. And the thing is that I know it was probably the journalist that had him raise these issues. And he might have wanted to have done it a little more subtly because there were reports several months ago about Elon Musk's use of certain substances, like, and they were concerned. The Pentagon was concerned because he has that deal with SpaceX.
Correct.
Right. So this is not gossip or scuttlebutt. It's been in the news, and so Don Lemon should have realized, hey, I've got this really good deal with this guy, and he didn't want to blow it. And I know he was just being a journalist, but he should really have thought about it. I'm not saying he should have kissed Elon Musk. But why did he have to make Elon Musk his first guest?
I think that makes sense from a marketing standpoint. He is joining his platform. It is one of the biggest social media platforms. He is was supposed to be one of the first shows exclusively broadcasting on there. It only makes sense. Elon is a good guest. He's controversial. He has a lot to say. Don, like I said, is a good interviewer. So I think it makes sense that they would have had the conversation. Now, the parameters around such conversation obviously probably weren't discussed, or if they were, they weren't really as down as appeared to be, because it's obvious from some of the clips that Elon was a little brustly, little offended by some of the questions. He asked him about his use of, I believe it's ketamine. Is that what the drug is called? He asked him about his use of that, which is something, once again, Elon has talked about in the press, but he didn't appreciate it coming from Don. And Elon also has been in the past few days very vocal in tweeting things out that are low-key offensive and high-key racist, or, reverse those, whichever way you want to put that together. But so it just, might all be coming together at the wrong time frame.
I think Don Lemon was simply being a journalist, because if he was on any other platform, those would have been reasonable questions to ask. But because he has this deal with him, I don't think he should have done that. And I think it was Sean Hannity that got fired from Fox News. Was it Sean Hannity got fired from Fox News?
I think so. Listen, we're going to put a pin in you and carry you over, and we will get your final thought then. But we're going to continue on this because it is an interesting topic, and there's lots of comments in the chat that we can get to on this. So you are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580, News and Sports on the other side.
It was bound to happen. I came to give you what you lacking whenever you hear them other niggas rapping, rocking. Change stadiums, palladiums, crack craniums. My whole skeleton is dipped in titanium. Drop top, 10 on 20s, using rappers like crash test dummies. Stacking real estate and money. It's funny how things change overnight when you thinking right. I beat the odds like I beat on his first wife. Rearrange the whole game with my rugged sound. Won't even say your own name when I come around. Stay on top but remain from the underground.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tyreek Wynn. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The FDNY is investigating who heckled at New York Attorney General Letitia James at a graduation ceremony last week. The booing was loud and prompted the Attorney General to say, "Come on, we're in the house of God." The heckling sounded well orchestrated rather than spontaneous, with Trump chants interrupting James's remarks. The FDNY wants to get to the bottom of it. It's got clear video of the event, but issued an internal memo saying that those who gave Letitia James an icy welcome would be better off stepping forward rather than being hunted down. The NAACP wants black student athletes to reconsider if they're thinking of enrolling in a predominantly white institution in Florida. The organization yesterday sent a letter to the NCAA president, Charlie Baker. NAACP leaders are protesting the state's law requiring schools to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. They claim that Republican governor and former presidential candidate Ron DeSantis has been wagging war on black America. That's the latest. I'm Tyreek Wynn on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader. Follow 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 the leader.
Have you fallen behind on your water and power bill? LADWP has made paying your past due bills even easier. Sign up anytime online for Level Pay to get set monthly bills that include past due amounts. Or check out the special extended payment arrangements of up to 48 months to help pay down your bill. Visit ladwp.com/cares and sign up today. That's ladwp.com/cares.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Watch out! You got me!
The galaxy is safe once again.
In the pretend universe, kids play with pretend guns. In the real world, it's up to us to make sure they don't get their hands on a real gun. If you have a gun in the house, keep it locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste, so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Daz Dillinger, corrupt young Gotti. West Coast, California living. Yeah. Millie Monotone, Cyclone Stallone, Marone, Chaperone, Shiny Chrome Capone, smashing in the 82, brand new Chrome. Home sweet home, where the hoods to roam. In Gangsterville, where we shoot to kill. Pop the pill, pop, then drop the 3 wheels. The telltales, fly high as a gazelle. The hellhounds came through to drown the well. Pronounce, denounce, stripped in that cell.
And you were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. We have some comments in the chat. We're going to get to those. We're discussing Don Lemon and his quick connection and disconnection with Elon Musk and X for his new talk show. Pretty Brown Mimi says, if Charlemagne can thrive, Don can thrive too. He just needs a reset. Thomas Outlaw says, Don Lemon doesn't have to be black. He just has to be good. He's not black. He's like OJ. Shout out to Jay-Z. And he said, happy cake day, Mr. Trent. K.E. Smith says, I like him on CNN, but I agree about YouTube. It's so impossible being a black anything. You're either too black or black enough. He's in a tough spot. Oprah got the same criticism. And Carrie Webb is shouting you out for your birthday. Pretty Brown Mimi adds also that Tucker Carlson is the one who was fired from Fox News and got a boatload of money. Sean Hannity, she believes, is still there. And she says Don is a journalist. He needs a podcast and a YouTube show to do some fire interviews. Andy?
I think Don Lemon is going to thrive.
I think so, too.
Regardless of his blackness and just, social media is a place of drama. And the drama that already he has, people are going to want to tune in just to hear what he has to say. Black, white, green, whatever.
I think so, too. Let's bring Fahima back in.
Yes, I got that. It was Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson also interviewed Vladimir Putin on X not too long ago, and he got $15 million. And I don't know if that's for a deal to do periodic programming. Now, Don Lemon, like I said, he's a journalist, and that's why he approached the interview the way he did. And he's going to be on all the platforms he had planned to before. It's just that he's out of $24.5 million.
I mean, he might have got some of it, but I completely understand that. But here's the thing. Ethically, if not this interview, at some point, especially being that we're in an election year, I feel as though there might have been some type of friction or conflict down the line anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's just like I said. I think, I understand Don Lemon interviewing Elon Musk and the reasoning and the rationale, and his line of questioning would have been appropriate if he was on a different platform. But this is the guy he had a contract for $24.5 million, and he should have known Elon Musk is temperamental. If he offended him, he was going to probably lose the deal. So he'll still be able to stream on all the platforms because he said he'll be available everywhere podcasts are available, but he's just not going to get that money. Now, maybe he'll be able to get some sponsors. Now, as I said, and I'm wrapping up, I was in the space earlier, and people were coming up with all kind of stuff. Oh, well, this is probably just a stunt to promote the interview, which I don't think so. Oh, he's just trying to get hired back at CNN. I don't think so. I think it's exactly what Don Lemon said happened. Elon Musk got temperamental and offended and, canceled the deal.
I mean, I think so as well. I wonder if he still has his blue check so that he'll still get paid some money anyway, because he said he still plans to put it up on X. Which, if he's part of the revenue share thing, then stuff will be coming in. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, but he ain't going to make no $24.5 million.
No.
All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I'll continue to listen.
We always appreciate your call, Fahima. It's amazing to talk to you. Shout out to you. Thank you. Yes, Trent.
I just looked it up because I had to know. I was like, what are their signs?
Whose signs? Don and Elon?
Yes.
Elon's a Gemini?
No, he's a Cancer.
Okay.
And Don Lemon is a Pisces.
Oh, so two emotional water signs.
A Pisces and a Cancer should never, ever, 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 ever work in close proximity like that.
You think it's too much emotional, too much water?
It is a bad idea. Every single Cancer that I've known in close proximity, like, we try to kill each other.
You clash.
Oh, absolutely. We try to destroy each other.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Okay. All right, then.
And Cancer, man, oh, God. Don't even get me started.
50 Cent.
Let's not. See? Petty, super petty for no reason.
Yeah.
Wow.
Indeed. Well, shout out to them. We'll see what happens.
I also have a theory on Fahima. I love her so much.
Okay, we'll take that up a little bit later. So, Wendy Williams' ex-husband, Kevin Hunter.
Oh, Kelvin.
He is back in the news.
No, he's not.
A little bit. He has come out and is asking for 2 years of unpaid spousal support.
No, Kelvin.
After, she was recently diagnosed with dementia and aphasia. He filed the motion in a New Jersey Superior Court on Tuesday, and his legal team is arguing that Wendy owes him the support that she did not pay following their 2020 divorce.
And he owes her the support, too, by being a loving and faithful husband. He didn't do that either. So guess what? You don't win. She didn't win. So nobody wins. It's over. Move on.
I mean...
Call Sharina.
I would agree with that. He says that her care team announced this year, over the past few years, questions have been raised at times about Wendy's ability to process information. Many have speculated about Wendy's condition.
Girl, she is a drunk.
Particularly when she began to lose
you
words.
You take away the bottle,
erratic.
She can think again. And here's the thing. He needs to go home and sit down. Period. Because... what type of person are you to harass a spouse who's clearly going through health issues for money? You're showing, we already knew what your true colors were, but now you're really showing like who you really are. Because any normal, decent human being would just go sit down somewhere and go get a job at Wendy's.
He is saying that...
or open a car wash.
Right, something, right? He hasn't received any payments since January of 2022.
Good for him. Go find a job. We all have to work.
Facts.
Join the club.
He said, "This is an emergent matter because I rely on the severance pay for my living expenses, and having been without this income for 23 months has affected me greatly." So, Wendy said in the docuseries on Lifetime, "I don't have no money. There's no money there." So,
because Wells Fargo has the money.
So exactly. So I'm not
fair.
really sure.
Whereas Wells Fargo has the money.
So it said that he is also requesting to petition the to see the books, basically, to see the numbers.
And here's the other side to that. The only way that I will be coming after an ill spouse is if I felt like it was a cooked up scam and I knew that they were scamming me out the money and hiding it somewhere. Which goes back to the original point that I made a long time ago. I'm not going to say it because y'all came after me for saying this, okay? So I'm not going to say it no more.
Pretty Brown Mimi says, "Some of us Cancers are sweet." K.E. Smith says, "Bye, Kevin. Get your CDL and stop playing."
Yep.
Your commercial driver's license. That's right. Urban Spinster says, "I've told you about this Cancer hate speech." And Pretty Brown Mimi also says, "It's time for Kevin to get a job. He cheated and had a baby on Wendy. He's trifling." And that is about it. As a man, Kevin.
Also, please do not call me and say happy birthday. I will be mortified. Don't do that. Don't do that. Andy, if they call up here singing, hang up. Click.
As a man.
Don't do it.
Kevin needs to get it together.
Kevin is crazy.
And
I was going to say something, but then I caught myself because I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be cool tonight because, I, as an older 40-year-old, I'm trying to evolve and not base things on astrological signs, but what sign Kelvin is.
What sign is
he? He is the same sign as the last person that I dated.
Interesting.
And I'm not going to say it out loud for reasons known to you.
Interesting. Well, when we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So let's talk a little 50 Cent.
Oh, what did he do now?
A lot. It's 50 as always. He is a Cancer. First up, he announced today that Power Origins is in development at Starz. They are going to stretch out the Power universe for as long as they can. I will tell you, I see what they're doing with this, and I'm going to explain it to you in a minute. So Power Origins is going to tell the story. He's listening to the fans, what the fans want to see. They've been asking in the Raising Kanan show, when are we going to see young Tommy and Ghost? When is Breeze going to show up to see what happens? So he is answering the call, and there's going to be a prequel to Power, which is Origin. I don't know if it's going to be Power Book, yada, 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 Origin, or just Origin, but Origins. That's what it's called. And it's going to focus on young Tommy and Ghost. No further information about it, but the showrunner that currently is working on, I believe, Raising Kanan, just signed a deal with Starz. So that is a way, because we know Courtney Kemp, who was originally with 50 and Mark Canton, the creators of the original Power 10 years ago, she's moved on to her deal. So we will see what 50 puts out, but also Starz and some of the other networks talk about when series start to get in their 4th and 5th season, the cast gets a bump as far as their pay. And so if you can create a universe like this where you have some familiarity, characters that fans are already connected to, as the salaries start to get higher and higher in these other shows, because let's face it, we know Raising Kanan and Ghost are expensive. The wardrobe alone in both is kind of high. So, and they're both going into their 4th season.
Wasn't there one that just started like a few weeks ago? The new season?
Oh, you're talking about BMF.
Yeah, okay. Different show.
Different show, but still by 50.
Okay.
You know,
because I don't watch all this stuff.
Similar drug dealing
I've never
universe.
seen an episode of Power.
You haven't?
Not one.
Power was my guilty pleasure.
And BMF, that was my first. The premiere this time because I was in Niles, so that was my first time like kind of watching it because I was with my cousins and stuff, and they like that stuff. So,
well,
that was my first time seeing
he's
it.
going to keep the universe going. Fans seem to be excited.
It's interesting. BMF was. I might have to go back and watch that one actually.
There's really BMF. There's a documentary that chronicles the real story on it. That's really good. That also is on Stars. And the first season was, kind of iconic. Some people felt it might have been a little slow in moments, but we're here and they have announced that season 4 is been greenlit, so they're going to be carrying it over. So 50 run Stars. Shout out to him. And of course, on his Instagram, he went after somebody today related to he is suing the distribution company for his Branson cognac line. And he put on blast a guy named that he referred to as Lord Michael Caruso. And he is part of the Beam Sunnery, I believe that's the name of the distribution company, that releases his cognac. And the caption said, "The fool has been snitching since 1942 Don Julio. You know he gonna tell on everybody," laughing out loud. Beam Suntory is screwed. They were paying this guy, Michael Caruso, $500,000 a year, and him and his partner, Julio's Grant, put this together. It's gonna make a great TV show, because 50 will bully you through social media without hesitation.
You know what? I'm only laughing because his downfall is going to be so nasty.
50s?
Oh, my God. Somebody is going to, one day he's going to meet his match. I remember my 20s. I had a very rogue, reckless mouth. And one day I said something to someone. It was really low, too. And I admit it. And she said to me, you know what, change your action. She said, you don't mind many people. She said, but one day you're going to mind somebody.
Yeah. And
I never forgot it because one day I minded somebody. It wasn't physical or anything, but one day somebody got me. And I was like, you know what, today was my day. So one day he is going to meet his match and they're going to drag him all across social media. He might even have to delete his Instagram.
And it's going to be a young one because that's usually how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like somebody young, reckless, and doesn't care. Pretty Brown Mimi says she's right there with you. Thank you for saying that. She's never watched Power either. Power is celebrating its 10th anniversary, as I said, this coming June.
There are other
will
things
be
to
the
watch.
10 years anniversary of it. But here's the thing. To launch I know, but to launch a series and for it to blossom out into now 5 spinoffs. We know that there was a spinoff plan for Lorenz Tate character, Rashad Tate, but that has since gone away, and he is now a star in the Ghost series, so we do get to continue to see his journey. But, we'll see what happens. It seems to be an audience. He seems to be,
sure.
Stars probably is like, darn that 50 Cent rats.
Or cha-ching.
Well, no, I think he's a little headache for him. They didn't re-up their deal with him.
Well, he's a headache everywhere he goes.
But
why would you really want to work with somebody who's going to eventually troll you when they don't get their way?
It's because I guess he brings the dollars. He brings the views.
Where
them dollars at? Like Diamond said. So, or is that Gangsta Boo? I think that was Gangsta Boo that said that.
Didn't one of those girls die or something?
Gangsta Boo passed away.
No, but there's another rapper that was like one of the...
Boss. Yeah, we talked about that on Monday. Boss. She was the first female signed to Def Jam West. Some people have incorrectly labeled her the first female signed to Def Jam, but it was Def Jam West. Nikki D was the first female signed to Def Jam. And that's just how the story goes. All right, so, streamers are taking over, right? There's Kai Cenat. There is a guy named Aiden Ross. We saw him recently in the situation with 21 Savage and the marked cards. And, all the rappers seem to have to go through their situation. Well, recently, he was in an interview with DJ Academics, and he claimed that he hit up Sexy Red after her sex tape leak, and he claims that he hooked up with her. Well, Sexy Red had a response, and I'm unsure if all of this is sarcasm and they're just talking mess, or if they're being serious, but it just says a lot where we are right now. Sexy said, that he paid her to take his virginity. And it's like,
I'm so glad I didn't take my sip of coffee because I knew it was going to be something outrageous.
It was going to be all over
That's
the
why there was hesitation. I was like, wait a minute, let me put this down for a second because that is absolutely absurd.
Funny response, but... are we really open prostitution? Like, come on, where are we? I know that they kind of talk about it in the songs, but you just had a baby. That would have meant that you were pregnant when it went down.
If we're talking about
sarcastic,
bend it over and let it breathe, then you definitely charge it too.
Hands on your knees.
Exactly.
Hands on your knees. Look,
I've had
shake
enough.
that thing for me. That's my song, though.
I hate that I like it.
Rich Baby Daddy.
I refuse to admit that I like it publicly.
You just did, though.
I know.
Rich Baby Daddy, SZA, Drake, and Sexy Red.
I haven't downloaded it in my iTunes, though, but I will give it a couple spins.
It's Apple Music now.
Whatever.
You're like, whatever, same thing.
I'm 85 years old. I'm going to say iTunes because I was there at the inception.
At the beginning, right?
Yes.
When you had an iPod.
I still call it all of that. Yep.
And they revolutionized the game. I mean, in theory,
it's iTunes.
We should be buying our music from Tower Records.
Yeah,
Sam Goody.
What a time with the Warehouse.
Mm-hmm. All of those things.
Somebody made a comment on my music because I still have my CDs and I still have them up, in view. And so they were just going through my collections. Like, you have everything. And I was like, exactly. Because when the internet breaks and we can't press a little button for music anymore, what are we going to do?
How are you going to get to it? That's right.
I have CD players. I have one in my car, actually. And I have one, and I have a few at home.
Listen, every award season, I get sent a bunch of DVDs, and I just look at them because I
Slide
no longer have a DVD player.
Oh, you need one?
No, because where am I going to hook it up? I don't want to do all that.
I have one for End of Times. Let me know if you...
I mean, that is smart, though, because what happens when the internet goes out or
the power
something like
goes
that?
out.
Well, if the power goes out, we can't watch it anyway.
Who?
Or yours just battery powered.
Who? Y'all don't have generators?
No. You are ready for the apocalypse.
Yes, I have a bunker and everything. Who are you talking to? This is 2024. Like, battery powered life is, come on. If we spend $2,000 on reckless things, a Louis Vuitton bag, you have to a solar generator is the same amount of money, and you can plug up your whole entire house for 3 days.
Facts on facts. We're going to put a pin on that. We're going to revisit this on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580 News and Sports on the other side.
Get pairs like 10 spares, says, bears, 5 and 5, and multitudes coming through banging 5. Hit ligaments and structure rewide. I'm tired of all y'all rap this sawed off, let off the pellet. The desert eagles start yelling, screaming the path of a demon belly.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tyreek Wynn. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The FDNY is